Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be working on my Thuja occidentalis forest or eastern white cedar forest. I've been letting it grow quite a bit and it's time to prune it back. I've left the forest grow all summer and it's in a fairly small pot and I can see that it's raising out of the pot, so it's very root bound. I had to water it a lot and it dried out very quickly. That pot must be just full of roots. So in spring I'll be repotting it into a larger pot. And I was thinking of putting, quite a bit larger pot and possibly making this like an island in the middle of water. So the edges of this planting would be surrounded by rocks and it would look like an island. And I think that would look really, really nice. So it is in need of pruning. I've got a lot of branches that I can shorten. I can get rid of crossing branches, branches growing inside, kind of cleaning up the structure, making the trees more compact. This forest is made up of one main tree in here, which you can see in here. So it's a 5-trunk planting. So there's one main trunk, and then off of the same root base is another 4 trees fanning out. And you can see them in there. And then surrounding the large tree in the middle, I've planted all these seedlings. And these were all grown from seed. And I planted those around the main tree, creating a forest. And my original intent for this forest was that the main tree is sort of partially hidden by the trees surrounding it. So to see everything, you have to look very carefully. That you have to go in and examine the details of the forest. So it's congested just like a real cedar forest. I'm going to continue with that theme in this forest, so nothing will be in plain sight. If to see the trunks of the trees, you have to get under and look at them. From the distance, it'll look just like kind of a triangular shape of green. If I step back and look at the forest, the overall shape, it's a little square looking. It's very flat on this side. It's kind of almost flat on top. And this side has a bit of taper to it, but not a whole lot. So I'm going to try and push some of these branches in. I've got some back budding on them that I can reduce the branches back. Trying to get more of a rounded conical form to all the cedar trees. I'll begin up on the top of the main tree. So I have one really long branch here. And I've got a bit of back budding on it. I can reduce it back. And I think I need to. So I'm going to take it back. I have a couple possibilities. I have a branch here, a branch here. They're not really strong. I do have a strong upright branch here, and there's a branch at the back that's strong. So I can at least take it to here, taking the tip off, and I could even take it back further to this growth on the inside, which is quite strong, and I will. I'll take it back to here, kind of reducing that branch back. There's a branch at the back. I can just take the tip off of it, kind of keeping it compact. And that's about all I can do on that branch. There's a bit of dead bits on it that I'm just picking out, cleaning it up. Yeah, so that's as much as I can shorten this lower part of the branch. Now there's part of this branch that goes upwards here. You can see it divides here. So there's an upright part and a lower branch. And if I can reduce this upright part, it would be really nice. Here's some more dead branches I'm just pulling out. So this branch coming forward, I can take the tip off. There's some good strong growth back further. Like that. This one also, I can take the tip off. Like that. There's a strong branch at the back here I can reduce back. Taking the tip off once again. Now, I'm looking at the structure of this branch. Oh, there's a bit of dead foliage here. I'll just take out. Yeah, I'm looking at the structure of the branch, trying to reduce it back. So I could take this branch back to here. taking the whole tip off that branch. I can reduce this tip off the branch at least. Maybe I can do more on it. I've got some growth pointing towards the inside of the tree here. I'll remove right there, keeping everything fanning outwards. And then I've got, you know, this branch at the back is nice, but I've got one sticking straight up, and I think I've got to remove that totally. So here I go, like that. So that's certainly got that branch reduced back. There's another bit growing towards the inside here I'll remove. And then I can shorten this branch back. And I can shorten this branch back. And I've got some upright growth on this branch, and I think it's taking vigor away from the horizontal growth, so I'm going to remove it. Trying to stimulate that horizontal growth to grow instead. I think that'll really help. And I'll prune this one off on the inside, like that. And I better take this growth off. And I'll pitch this tip back. And that's all I can do on this one branch. So I've got it more compact, it's more flowing. Yeah, it should do well next summer. So now I'm going to work on the apex here. I'm just seeing what's going on. So my apex, it comes up, I've got a branch off to the left. The branch to the right divides left and right. So I've got a lot of choices for, you know, branch selection in the apex. I think I've got a branch here that crosses back in towards the center of the tree, so I'm going to remove that. It's a good, strong, vigorous branch, so that's coming out. I've got this branch coming out front. You can see the branch comes up, it divides left and right here, so I'll take off the middle part, reducing that back. I've got a branch here that comes out. I can reduce that back. I've got some strong vertical growth here. Do I want that? I think that is my apex, so I'll just prune off this part of it. And I think that's kind of my apex here. The highest point on the tree, maybe, if I can reduce the rest back. Well, let's look at this one. It's quite tall. This one comes up, it can be taken off, it's a vertical shoot. I've got a branch coming up here. I've got one coming out the front. So I think I can take that whole top off there, like that, reducing that back. I've got a vertical shoot here that I'll prune back. Got some growth on the inside here I'll take out. Some here also. Pinch this tip back. Some growth going to the inside here I'll remove. Keeping, you know, this open for air circulation, light, all the good stuff. Okay, now I have a hanging branch coming down. Without it, you can see the structure of the tree but maybe a little too much. So I think I'll keep that hanging branch. I think it kind of fills in the apex a bit. Same with this hanging one. I think this one could be reduced back. There's a bit of dead wood I can take off here. Dead branch. This branch can be reduced back. This branch can be reduced back. This one can certainly be reduced back. And then this area back here, I can take off this upper part. I can reduce this one back. Can't do much with that. It's not strong enough. So I'm just looking at this structure now, trying to sort it out. So I have some vertical shoots here I can remove. Some more vertical shoots here I'll remove. One here. Try to get this branch to go back. You know, lay down flat back here. Take off this part of this branch. I can reduce this one back even further to here. Another vertical one here I'll take out. So that really flattened that branch out. It's looking much better now. Yeah, I really cleaned that area up. There's some growth going towards the inside here. I'm just pruning away here. There's some growth coming to the inside here. Take that back. Now this branch here is getting a little vertical looking. Get the top off and I'll snip this one back. Here's a strong shoot here that can be reduced back. It's a very strong back branch here that needs reducing. So this tree started to develop seed cones on it. You can see them here. I'll show you a close-up of it. So coming in here, you can see the seed cones developing on the end of the branches. See them right there, the little brown tips. And I'll show you what they look like when they mature. On the cedar in the backyard here, if we zoom in, can you see all the brown tips at the end of the branches? I'll show you a close-up. So here they are here, and you can see these ones have opened up and dropped their seeds out. So on the ground, there'll be tons of little Thuja seeds. And they do this about every 4 or 5 years. They get all these cones on them. And that's where I get all my seedlings from. The little seeds fall into my bonsai pots and germinate. And I get all these little seedlings growing in my pots. So then I put them in their own pot and grow them as little miniature trees. So I'm going to continue pruning up the tree, and then we'll come back and have a look at it. And I'll try and get them, you know, as compact as I can get the trees. Try and get the branches, you know, flowing and nice looking. Yeah, so I'll just work away and then we'll come back and see how the forest looks. Here is the pile of branches that I've taken off just the main tree so far. Amazing, a lot of foliage has come off. So yeah, it's really opened it up now. Getting light to all those branches, made it a little more compact. So I'm going to have to finish the smaller trees tomorrow. I'm running out of light. It's getting dark. The new light that Tom got me is working. So I have a remote control here. So if I turn it on, there it is, it's on now. So I've mounted it above the front table here, and it lights it up at night. So at nighttime I come in here, I have the two lights up here that come on, and they light up the side benches. And this light gives me light on the main bench. So theoretically, I could work out here at nighttime if I wanted. So yeah, I'm going to come back. Oh, that light just turned off. Oh, it came on again. So this has a motion detector in it, so it comes on, same as these ones. It's not dark enough for these lights to come on yet. So I'm going to come back tomorrow and finish up the planting, pruning up all these smaller trees. And there's a lot of foliage in here. They're really, really dense. So yeah, I don't want to rush it tonight. I want to take my time and finish it up tomorrow. It's early in the morning, day 2 now on this forest. I'm going to be pruning up the small trees that surround the giant tree in the middle. So here I go. My plan for the younger trees is to prune them in a conical form. These trees represent the younger trees in the forest, and that's typically how a cedar grows into a rounded conical style form. I'm going to leave the bottom branches quite low on these trees. I don't want them touching the soil surface, but I don't mind them if they hang down just above the soil surface. So here I go. Just clipping off the long extensions. It's a nice quiet Sunday morning so far. So here's the top. I'll just prune the tip off like that. Keep it growing vertical at the top. This branch can get pruned back quite a bit to here. That. I'll work away pruning up all the smaller trees, then we'll come back and have a look at the forest and then make any adjustments if there's branches sticking out too far or branches that need eliminating. So yeah, we'll do a sort of a critique after I've pruned up the younger trees. I'm working away at this first tree out front, and you can see this one branch here is too long. It's sticking out of that conical profile. And back closer to the trunk line, I have new shoots. So I'm going to replace this older branch with these newer ones. So I can just prune off the older branch like that. And now I have these new ones in closer to the trunk line to replace it. I'm just pinching out the tips of them, removing branches that grow in towards the trunk line, keeping everything fanning outwards. Here's another older branch that can be pruned back. Bit of pinching there. And you can see it's starting to take on that conical form. It's looking quite nice. There's a long branch over here that needs pruning back. One here, I'll take the tip off. Like that. A bit of pinching at the tips here and here. Pinching the tips just gets more subdividing so the branch doesn't continue to grow straight. Creates more branching. There's one growing up vertically here I can remove. And there's one vertical one here I can remove. So that first tree is all pruned up, looking good. I have finished the pruning of the forest. So here's what I took off. A lot of foliage and branches. So let's have a look at the forest now. Here's a look at the forest from the front view. So there's a few changes I think I want to make. The main tree has a lot of branches coming off to the left-hand side, and the one tree out front kind of blocks the view of that. I think that tree out front would look better located even more out front and off to the left-hand side a bit. I think when I repot it, I might expand the perimeter of these small trees to move them out further from the main tree, because they'll grow and mature, and I think they'll need a little more space. I don't want them really growing under the branches of the main tree so much. So a larger pot, creating that island setting, and some rearranging of the trees in spring, I think will really improve this forest. So there'll be changes coming to it, but it's nice to get it pruned up, ready for spring. Let's fly in now and have a look at the forest. I think it'll be quite exciting working on this forest in spring, creating that island, rearranging the trees a bit. I think it has the potential to become something quite nice. It's time now for today's updates.
Where are you going, eh? You can't climb the wall. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. You're bearing a nut there, are you? Hey, are you bearing a nut? Hi. Hello. That's a walnut you have in your mouth. Yeah, a walnut. You've just frozen, eh? Oh, there you go. Where are you going, eh? Where are you going?
Here we are in the plant room. So everything's growing really, really well. I've got the 4 new LED grow lights above the trees, and they generate quite a bit of heat, so it keeps it really warm in this room. I just have my heater over here with a fan behind it, and that blows warm air out. So right now the temperature in here is 23 degrees Celsius and 87% humidity. So it's very tropical in here. And it's very conducive to growing aerial roots. So let's have a look at the temple here. Here's an update on it. So you can see the roots that were hanging down over the doorway there. They have touched the soil surface now and are beginning to root into the soil. Up above on top of the entranceway, there's all kinds of aerial roots growing. You can see the roots growing out of the moss here. And on this side, the same thing. You can see the white root tips growing out of the moss. So there'll be a lot growing in the moss also. So the trees are starting to pick up vigor. They're starting to grow at the top. And I think once they fill out a bit more, the root growth will be even stronger. Over here, my silk floss trees that I cut back are growing now. They're getting branches on them. Behind that is my bougainvillea. It's got some really nice flowers on it. The ficus, they're growing really well. You can see all the new leaves coming out on the branches. They're liking it in here. They're also getting aerial roots. If you look down at the trunk of this tree, you can see the aerial roots growing out in midair. My Schefflera forest over here is doing well. My banyan style forest. It's getting all kinds of aerial roots under the canopy, so that's exciting. My fiddle leaf fig has lots and lots of aerial roots. If you look at the soil surface there, you can see all the white roots growing. I think that'll need repotting soon too. Yeah, so everything's doing really well in the plant room here. And again, I alternate the lights, so I have the back row on now. And then I switch to the front row either every other day, or like yesterday it was sunny and there's lots of light coming in the front windows here, so I didn't need to put the lights on for this front row here of trees. So I just left the back row on. But if it's cloudy out like it is now today, I can turn this bank of lights on and turn the back ones off. So I kind of alternate. You can see my rubber trees are growing with a ton of vigor. The forest here. The yucca forest is greening up nicely. You can see the good root growth on the surface of the soil there. Yeah, they're liking it in the plant room. A lot of these trees I kept cool last year. Some were in the basement and they survived, but I don't think they need that long a cool period. Our winters are too long, so I think it's best to kind of leave them out in fall. Leave them out as long as you can so they don't get frost, and then bring them in and warm them up. And I think that's a good enough cool period for them. And now, you know, they're growing like crazy. So I'll have to really keep up on the insects in this room. I haven't had any yet, but that could come anytime in these warm, humid temperatures. Yeah, so it'll be a challenge, I'm sure. But I think, you know, my trees are going to grow really well over the winter. I'm so excited about this temple planting. I think it's going to be awesome. that was a look at the plant room. So that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.